in case you wondered if I really liked vampires or not. Hey, I'm Kayla Amanda. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. It's October, and that means that for the next 2 months, authortube is going to give a shit about absolutely nothing that isn't NaNoWriMo. I've been doing NaNoWriMo for a very long time. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly how long because I deleted my very first NaNoWriMo account, and then at some point I went back and I deleted all of my projects from before 2007. I guess I was caught by the crushing embarrassment of being perceived in those incarnations of myself, but I kind of wish I hadn't. I really would like to be able to go back and look at those as posterity pieces. Like, I want to know what I was writing in 2004. I'm sure that it was just a Buffy fanfic with the serial numbers filed off, but it would still be nice to have it, just for reference. If somehow you have managed to find this video without knowing what National Novel Writing Month is, it is the month of November in which you try to write a 50,000 word novel in just 30 days. That's roughly 1,700 words a day. The classic version is to start a new project at the beginning of the new month, although lots of people will continue to work on a project they've already started, or they'll do a second draft or a series of short stories, that kind of thing. I've never been much of a Nano rebel, and part of that is that I'm the kind of person who loves the arbitrary fresh start of a new month, new quarter, new year. I often have struggled with the ways in which I've failed at things in the past, so it's good for me to be able to say, like, the past is the past. It's a fresh week, we can start over. So I am predisposed to liking that kind of arbitrary fresh start that is November 1st, new project. But I also think the 1,700 words a day comes into play here, because for me, at the very least, it's a lot easier to write the 1,667 words that I need every day on a new project, something that I'm feeling like really excited and fresh with. If I was writing a second draft or doing a rewrite, I think it would be a lot easier for me to get stymied in the project, to get stuck in the revision space and not be able to push forward with the kind of like generative speed that I get when I'm first drafting a new project. In that spirit, I'm going to be working on a new project for Nano this year. I'm not going to force myself to do revisions for Karen Alex's book. I need like a mental and creative break from it. I have talked about this before, but I think that taking that kind of break while still staying creative and still writing will help me to just get some of that energy back and to not feel so bummed out by the revision process and not like burn myself out on it quite so much. So NaNoWriMo, we're going old school. We are gonna go back to my roots and we're gonna write a trashy, indulgent vampire romance and just let myself have fun. The only goal for Nano is to have a good time writing it. I previously told you that I'd backburnered a novella for a contemporary wedding-centric anthology. The anthology is no longer happening for a number of reasons, but mostly, like a lot of adults with day jobs, it's kind of difficult to plan an anthology around. So I am taking that story idea and I've turned it into a vampire idea because contemporaries are really hard for me to write. The bones of the story are going to stay the same. My couple meet and hook up at a wedding and then are thrown back together when he interrupts a bad date she's on a few months later. But now I get to add in vampire shenanigans, bloodletting, and commitment fear on a whole new level. My main character's issue is commitment. That's what she's desperately afraid of. She doesn't want to put her heart on the line with anyone. And she had a hard enough time with that when she was thinking about relationships in terms of decades. But now that she's with Lee, who's already 500 years old, their relationship can be thought about in terms of centuries, in terms of as close to forever as you can get. And that is gonna absolutely spin Hannah out. She is gonna lose her fucking mind about it, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm just gonna write all of the indulgent, tropey vampire fun that I love, really get back to, you know, the version of me in 2004 who was probably writing Buffy fanfic with the serial numbers filed off. Just like, I love vampires, I love cheesy romance, and I am gonna let myself roll those things together into the most perfect, schlocky, self-indulgent creativity break that I can possibly make for myself. All I want to do for this whole project is have a good time. I just want to write about my dumb babies falling in love and having good sex and having exciting, dramatic, vampire-based fight scenes. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to letting myself just be free with it. Obviously, that's for like a certain value of be free with it. I do still have a plot because I desperately need one, but I've tried to pare down my plot to be really clear and concise about what it is that I want to hit for them. Like, the beats that I want to hit and what their central conflict is. I don't want to run into this problem again where I'm trying to like cut out extraneous conflict in revisions. So I'm just trying to keep it like sweet and simple, the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I should get that tattooed on my fucking forehead. One of the really nice things about this project is that in trying to turn it into a vampire romance, I've found a way to link it into the vampire world that I want to write my next projects in as soon as I'm done with Kara and Asher. And since they meet at a wedding, I had to decide what wedding they met at and how that wedding went, which meant that I actually managed to kind of loosely plot the first 3 books in that vampire series, which was like a great bonus Jonas to get from just trying to work on this like dumb little novella. I have a pretty good idea of where I want them to go. I don't have all of the details, but I've tried to hit all of the broad strokes. So for the rest of October, my primary goal is still to do revisions for Kara and Asher. I don't want Kara and Asher's book to like draw out for another whole year. That would really bum me out. So I am trying to be like pretty diligent about making those changes, but I'm also giving myself space to work on plotting Lee and Hannah's book because it's important to me that I am prepared for NaNo. I don't want to find myself in a position where I'm on day 4 and I'm stuck because I don't know what comes next. So it's a bit of a balancing act that I don't know I'm very good at because I'm so much more incentivized to work on Lee and Hannah that Kara and Asher can kind of like fall to the wayside. So I'm like implementing this new rule for myself, which is that I have to finish my work on Kara and Asher's book before I work on Lee and Hannah, just because otherwise I think I run the risk of doing a ton of work for Lee and Hannah and not getting anything done with Kara and Asher, which I really would like to be finished with Kara and Asher sooner rather than later. If you're here looking for like really prescriptive how to win NaNo tips, unfortunately, I can't provide those for you because as always, I am a goblin and 3 cats in a trench coat. I don't know what I'm doing and I'm a dummy. But things that have worked for me in the past are just writing something that you're really passionate about, writing something that you love and makes you happy. You're your own first audience, and I think especially with something like NaNoWriMo, where you want to just be like consistent and generative, the best way to do that is to write something that makes you happy. And if that is like schlocky, indulgent, trashy vampire fiction, then that's the best thing for me to write. The other thing is to not be too hard on yourself. It's really easy for me to get down on myself when I fall behind if I am putting all of the emphasis on hitting that 50,000 words, which like that's the goal and it's awesome if you manage to hit that, but like if you don't, nothing bad is gonna happen. They don't go back and delete your NaNo if you haven't made it to the 50,000 words. If you make 30,000 or 10,000 or 200 words, that's still forward progress and that's great. So I think that taking away some of the pressure to like win at NaNo and hit that 50,000 word mark is really helpful. I know a lot of people will like hit it in the first week or hit it in a weekend, or you know, they'll try to write 100,000 or 200,000, and those stretch goals are awesome if you can do that, but I've never been able to and they've always kind of discouraged me. So I just stick to my 50,000 word goal and I try to tell myself that it doesn't matter if I don't hit it. What matters is that I sat down and I wrote. But anyway, if you're doing NaNo, please let me know. I would love to know what you are writing about, especially if it is schlocky indulgent vampires or any kind of trashy paranormal romance. That is my jam, bitches. Or thematically, that's my jam, witches. Otherwise, I would love accountability buddies. So if you want to kick my ass and remind me that I should be writing and not fucking around on the internet, that would be so helpful. If you're looking for me anywhere else, I am pretty much everywhere as Kayla Amanda. That is KAYLUGHMANDA, and I'll see you next time.